The death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith is no longer just a hit and run to be forgotten. You know about the case because he was a friend of Alec Murdaugh's son, Buster, okay? Buster was his friend. And there are rumors of potential involvement in Stephen Smith's death, but no proof has ever come out. Nobody's even really looked. There's been no substantiation of what happened, and the hit and run finding has always stunk. Buster denies it vehemently, just put out a statement. So for all involved, shouldn't there be an investigation? Doesn't the Smith family deserve that? Doesn't Buster, if he's not connected? Joining me now with a major breakthrough in the case is Stephen Smith's mother, Sandy, and her lawyer, Eric Bland. Thank you both very much for joining. Ms. Smith, I know that this is still very painful, especially the idea that your son did not get his due in terms of people trying to find answers to his death. How are you feeling about it now with the latest information? What do you want to share?
I'm still in shock. I'm elated. Just have a lot of mixed emotions right now. This is what I've been waiting for.
Well, I know it's a mixed blessing because the pain is still real. But Counselor Bland, what is it that has changed Sandy's disposition about her son's legacy?
This is a day that Sandy Smith has been waiting, not only as a mother, but as a South Carolinian, 8 years in the coming, Chris. Today, my partner Ronnie Richter and I received an extraordinary phone call from the Chief of SLED, Mark Keel, who told us that it's now the state's official position that Stephen Smith did not die from a highway fatality on July 8, 2015. Chief Keel said that he will join us in our exhumation of Stephen Smith, that we will cooperate together in a de facto partnership with what our experts will uncover and analyze after Stephen is exhumed. But it's a golden day for this mother that her son was not killed on a highway as they indicated in the certificate of death.
And of course, Sandy, you never believed that anyway, but one legal question, one personal question. Counselor Bland, on the legal side, is it true that the state authorities have said to you, no need to exhume the body? We already have what we need to continue this investigation. Is that true, and do you accept that?
Not quite. What they said is it's up to us, and Sandy needs this done. One, she wants to reverse the certificate of death and also the findings of the pathologist who said that it was a highway fatality. This is what she's been fighting for. We think that it may yield other information. The cooperation is going to be there, which is extraordinary, between a private law firm, Bland Richter, and the state of South Carolina. We're going to cooperate with our experts. They're going to be present when we do the exhumation. The state has told us that they're going to dedicate now the manpower that they had from the Murdaugh case over to the Smith case. But most importantly, Chris, Chief Keel told me that they believe that there is a small circle of people that have information and that they believe they can now talk and feel free because the yoke of the Murdaughs, as a result of the verdict is now off them. So it was a banner day. Usually you don't get this kind of information from the state. But for them to announce that it's their official position, and Chief Keel to say that it's okay for me to come on your show and state that is extraordinary. And, you know, we're just so happy for Sandy, not because, you know, she still has to deal with the grieving loss of her son and the exhumation. But this is what this woman has been screaming at the top of her lungs for 8 years. And people are going to have to start asking questions. Why did certain governmental agencies determine it was a highway fatality and were impervious to new information that the death probably was intentional and was indeed murder?
Well, it's also, Sandy, as you know, this isn't the first time that the state has become aware of this and questions about the situation. What do you feel at this point is the direction of why this happened to your son?
I really don't know why they did what they did. I I just knew in my heart that what they were telling me was not true.
Do
And I
you
had to
have any
fight.
belief, Sandy, about what happened to your son?
I believe he was beaten to death.
Why and by whom?
That I don't know. That's what I need answers for.
Counselor Bland, is there any working theory?
I think it was a hate crime. I think, Stephen was a very courageous young man to live an openly gay lifestyle in the low country of South Carolina in 2015. And I think it may have had to do something with his lifestyle. I don't have a theory on who did it. I think that once we exhume the body and we work with SLED and maybe we can get some people to talk. Remember, there was a piece of evidence, Chris, that was discovered during the Murdaugh murder investigation, whether it was a phone, text, or it was something from a computer. I think we'll find out, but I do think at the end of the day, it had something to do with Stephen's lifestyle and maybe a boyfriend that he may have had or a relationship that he may have had.
Now, of course, it's no surprise to you guys
which is despicable.
That there was a lot of intrigue surrounding Alec Murdaugh's son, Buster. He put out a statement, said very supportive things about your family, Sandy, and about your son, denies any connection. His lawyer had this to say about the situation.
There has been no indication, to my knowledge, of any involvement by the Murdaughs in Stephen Smith's death, cover-up. I mean, sure, there was information that Randy Murdaugh, maybe Alec Murdaugh, showed up on an accident scene, but these are personal injury lawyers.
Now, Sandy, that question was in this context. Okay, I understand that we don't know anything that connects Buster Murdaugh to this other than, rumors that were put into a Netflix show. But what about the Murdaughs and their influence in general? Counselor Jim Griffin, who doesn't represent, that aspect of it, but he does have purview over Buster, says it wasn't unusual for the Murdaughs to show up at a crime scene because they were personal injury lawyers. Do you accept that?
Randy Murdaugh was not a personal injury lawyer. He was a workman's comp lawyer.
So what does that mean?
As a matter of fact,
Chris?
he was working the case for my husband at the time.
So why do you think they were at the
Chris?
scene?
I don't know. Looking for something, I guess. I don't know.
Counselor?
Chris, you're a lawyer. You know that it's not ethical to go to an accident scene. You know that it's not ethical to find out about accidents through people. I'm not saying Randy Murdaugh did that, but Randy Murdaugh appears to have gone to the accident scene, and we're just going to have to find out why he showed up and how he showed up and who told him to show up.
Has he ever given any statement on that?
He has, to my knowledge, he has not.
Have you approached him about it ever?
I have not, Chris. I just got involved on Friday, and in 5 days, Ronnie and I have at least gotten the state to commit that this is a murder, which, we're making progress, fast progress. Give me a couple days, Chris.
Of course. Just for the headline, for those of you who may be tuning in right now, Stephen Smith, you've heard that name. Beautiful young man, was found dead. It was ruled somewhat a hit and run, never made sense, very mysterious for several different reasons. The state is now saying it has been judged to be a homicide investigation, meaning someone caused his death. Who and why? They are working with counsel for the Smith family to get answers to those questions. Now, I didn't expect this news, Sandy, so I kept the most important question for last. Usually I would ask this right out of the box. Your son should not be defined, as young as he was a beautiful kid with a big future, by how he left this world.
Absolutely.
What do you want people to know about
Yes.
who he was and what his dreams were?
His dreams was to be a doctor. That was his life dream ever since he was little. And he wanted to own 100,000 cats, but he was so bright and so funny. And I just always remember that beautiful smile and them dimples.
He's a beautiful kid. He's got a beautiful mom, and he's got a family that cares about him in death as much as they did in life. And I know you want answers. We'll cover the story to the end, and I appreciate you being with us tonight, Sandy. Our heart goes out to you for your loss, but hopefully you get some answers so there'll be some closure in that. Counselor Bland, as you know, our job is to get relevant information out. If we can help, we're a phone call away.
You got it, Chris. Thanks for having us.
All right, Counselor Bland, thank you. Ms. Smith, all the best to you and the family. And thank you for being with us. Congratulations on the news that hopefully you'll get to a place of understanding better what was taken from you and why. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.